Take a seat, take a breath. Got a feed that decides life and death. Every chart is a mountain, a meme, a decree. Is this genius or mass lunacy? So with me, swap mentality, where a frog with sunglasses screams we're early endlessly. Oh, see, bulls and bears and fantasy, every post's a prophecy. It's nothing made to beat. If you want to read what passes for a master plan, simply click and flick your thumb across this broken land. Want to know which way the winds of crypto might just be? Go scroll me. One says up, only friends. Next says this is how it ends. Someone's calling the top, someone's buying the dip, someone's typing a thread as their last relationship slips. Scroll with me through the fear and ecstasy, where a chart in crayon gets 1,000 hearts for free. You'll see every hot take, every plea. I was right in 23. Trust the line, ignore the spreadsheet. If you want to gauge if hope or panic's in command, if they're building castles or just castles in the sand, want to test if we're all early or just fantasy? Slow with me. Is it signal? Is it noise? Are we traders? Are we toys? Every candle, every coin is a cult you can join. Scroll with me, let the chaos be our key. Read the mood like it's a map to some great mystery. You'll see faith and doubt in harmony. I'm all into, I'm set free.
In one day, in one same tweet.
If you want to know if folks are brave or out of time, if they're quietly convicted or have simply lost their minds, then my friend, you found the perfect place to start this stream. So scroll with me.
G-Scroll. G-Scroll to all who celebrate on this fine Wednesday, June 17th. My name is Dude Lifts. This is Scroll with me. Let's go. And Frey saying G-Scroll in the chat. G-Scroll to you. Good sir. Dude, you know, it's the middle of the week. It's the middle of the month. Some might call it the Ides of June. Should Julius Caesar watch out? Probably. He doesn't have good luck with middle of the month type shit. Type shit is what they used to say in ancient Rome. But alas, let us get into it. Like I said, my name is Dude Lifts. This is Scroll with me. This is where we scroll the timeline together to better understand the vibes. We try to figure out what the heliante is going on. There's so much noise. How can we distill that signal? And I'm going to be straight up with you. I will not distill the noise from the signal. I may actually create more noise. But if you listen with an attuned Scroll with me tuned ear, then you understand. You understand. It's like a muscle that you build up, you know? But before we get started, let's caffeinate, because if we know the 3 pillars of Scroll with me are caffeination, hydration, and vibing, and then it makes a pyramid, because Illuminati. Very nice. All right. Alas, let us continue. All right, Franelations, who is your favorite collector's favorite collector? If you don't follow him, then what are you doing? Happy Azuki manga announcement day for those who celebrate. Yeah, Azuki announced that they're coming out with the manga in September. So there you go. There you go, everybody who was fudding Azuki. Actually, I don't think this satisfies them at all. But regardless. All right, here we go. Oh, and another anime post here. Okay. The series centers on Xiao, a girl from a place called the Alley whose world unravels when her sister Rei goes missing during a relic smuggling operation in the garden. Sick. In the shorts that Azuki's already put out with, I'm obsessed with, so can't wait. Can't wait. All right, what does Tree have to say here? Storytelling is the most important skill set for anyone to have. You want to be good at dating? Be good at telling stories. You want to be a successful salesperson? Be good at telling stories. You want to run a company? Be good at telling stories. You want to make We're Not Going to Show More? And Frey very eloquently, pulls a little bit of a Paul Graham, a reductionist moment and just says words. So you want to be good? Let's just shorten it down a little more. You want to be good? Words. Bad? No words. How to make the rules. How to make the rules. I just follow them. Oh, Jim's finally got the piece. Yes, one of my favorite pieces from the collection. It's just, I hesitate to say, but it's iconic. It's iconic. It's iconic. Dude, Vincent Van Gogh. Just love to see Vincent Van Gogh on the timeline. Things we love to see. 010 is free to the public today. Come say hi. Yeah, you better go say hi because yesterday Kanye West was there. And this tweet was brokered by Eli Sheen. So there. All right, here we go. We've got Whale here says, I'm honestly a bit tired of people looking down on users because they're here for the money. Yeah, I mean, obviously they are. And so are the teams and investors. They might be using heroic sounding words, but when you really break it down and look behind it, money is obviously the dun dun dun. We won't find it anymore. But I think what he's getting at is farming behavior. And maybe he's getting at about himself, about Mega ETH, I mean, yes and no. There are some builders who are like, quote unquote, building for the greater good, trying to solve real problems. Of course, they want to be financially motivated and compensated for those things most of the time. But yeah, I mean, like mercenary capital is fine. But I guess, yeah, it's weird. Okay, let me actually hydrate, fulfill one of the other pillars of Scroll With Me. Okay, let me think about this. So let's think about like gaming, for example. Game maker makes game, advertises game to potential players. Potential players make a decision whether or not to try game. Likely freemium because the model is drifted that way, likely because of these problems. And if they want to convert into deeper players, they can buy, cosmetics for the game, probably, or like a battle pass or something. They do not get anything other than the joy of playing the game for their money or their time. So, okay, let me think about this now. So, with crypto apps, it is assumed that since you're providing liquidity, because liquidity, maybe more so than attention, seems to be the kind of fundamental sauce of a crypto app, then you should be rewarded with liquidity or money for doing so. But then if time is money, it's essentially the same thing. So you're essentially taking your time, you earned that liquidity somewhere else and giving it in the form of money to an app to, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird problem. Are you entitled for time or money back for doing so, for essentially giving your time? I guess maybe I'd take the stance of no. Maybe we need to be more discerning with who we are gifting our time to. But maybe that's also on the apps to build better apps that make you feel fulfilled by using the app. And maybe there's something to be said for if you wouldn't use the app, then essentially why are you investing in it, right? If you're saying that giving your liquidity is essentially an investment, you want a return on that investment. But if the app is not even good enough to generate the traction and returns on that money, then maybe why are you investing in it? And if you are investing in it not knowing if it can generate the returns on that, then that is a risky investment in which you can lose your money. All right. Well, glad we got there. All right, let's keep going. Collector Crypto and why they chose Solana. There you go. All right, Ep.167 is incredibly bullish on the Coinbase-based stack, trading, agents, payments all in one place. Building anywhere else is basically negative EV at this stage. Ooh, it's clearly the EVM winning stack. That's what he says. And I think Apex is responsible for Veil.cash, which they got a shout out at the summit yesterday, which is really cool. So shout out to them. All right, so we've got Kook here saying the best crypto card by far is still EtherFi. Highest reward weight, no requirement to lock tokens, does not dox you in the app, pays rewards instantly in ETH. The not doxing in app, does that mean it's not KYC? Can't be. Interesting. Gonna have to look into this. I've been a big fan of the EtherFi team for a long time, but I've thought their biggest L is essentially their branding and marketing. It's where like Plasma takes their cake. So maybe they can up their game. Let's keep going here. Mike Dudas, we respect a Mike Dudas take here. Says this is what agents are going to eat. Money looks like a neobank built agentically end to end in less than 9 hours, onboarding deposit balances, a live outbound transfer, all on regulated rails, none of it faked. They open source the whole thing, prompts, sandbox, leaderboard, nothing is stopping you building with Dakota. It's time to ship. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. And then it becomes like competing for the best front end, competing for the best experience, competing for the best rewards, you know? This was the crypto dream. Shit, I was building an app yesterday. Shout out to Privy, you know, and was able to do login with Privy, all the kind of backend stuff on chain. Super easy, bro. And all I had to do, I didn't even download anything. I just fucking pointed Claude Code at it and said, I want Privy wallet. And it was just like, I will retrieve it for you. It turned into the fucking Emperor Xerxes. It was like, you have requested Privy authentication for your application. I will acquire it for you. Our arrows will blot out the sun. That wasn't him who said it. It was the other guy. It was the guy who was more gross. He's like, that was a blot out the sun. And the other guy was like, then we'll fight in the shade. If you know, you know. All right, here we go here. Speaking of Plasma, I joined the Plasma on waitlist. Anyone able to share an access code? I would, but it's not available in Arizona. Go figure. Love the Plasma team. Awesome. Just Arizona, I guess, is blowing it in that regard. So shout out. Shout out, shout out. Yo, wait, I actually think I have that camera. Dude, I'm really fumbling the bag here. I got my grandfather's camera collection. And I guess like grandfather, like grandson, I took after him because he's got some goated camera equipment. And I really need to dive in. Look at that. It's sick. Yeah. Need to dive in. Need to dive in. Here we go. And let's give it a little refresh. Get a little fresher tweets on the timeline. Yep, the fuck. Hold on. Paysages Plausibles by William Upon with Art Blocks IO sells out for $220,000 on day one. Oh, dude, do you think Kanye bought it? You think Kanye bought it? Maybe. Could have been. All right, crypto is about to get very exciting. A few crazy mainstream moments that are 3 to 6 months out from becoming public. Optimists rewarded. Yes. Yes. Dude, we got 8270 in this chat saying GM, G scroll to you. Good, sir. We got Digital here saying Azuki. There you go. We stand with Azuki. J Bond, you son of a bitch. I love J Bond is the ultimate rage baiter. He was just like, notice how they never mention NFTs. Okay, let's see. Azuki Mark Sang's first work in comics since he contributed to Udon Entertainment's Street Fighter series. The universe built for the manga, its characters, factions, lore, also underpins Azuki TCG, the company's trading card game, which topped 1 million in direct-to-player pre-sales before its retail release. Dude, that is a fucking banger line. The company's TCG, which topped 1 million in direct-to-player pre-sales before its release. Take that fucking headline to the bank. That's an incredible headline. Shop that thing around. Notice how they never mention NFTs. So let's do a little lesson here. Let's do a little lesson here. So when I was a substance abuse counselor for teenagers, so let me give you a little bit of background. So let's say teenagers, they start using substances at an early age, and it can result in something called arrested development, where they don't develop emotionally mature, emotionally or socially. And so you essentially, and then that kind of muscle, quote unquote, can atrophy because of continued substance use and then lack of having to use those skills. So essentially you end up with a, call it 17, 16-year-old kid with the brain of like a 12 or 13-year-old and yeah, no concept for emotional maturity and how to be in a society. We live in a society. And so we had to essentially teach them conscience, social skills, things like that, but in ways that teenagers would understand. And it was always kind of this like artificial, like almost like a pacemaker or something like that. It's a artificial version of the real thing. So we taught them a concept called PISS, which was called properly interpreting social situations. It means, hey, you walk in a room, you are in an interview. Do I dress up? Do I do this? How do I behave at this dinner, this gala, this thing? What do I do? Right. So it means take a moment, pause, assess the social situation, and determine what's appropriate. Doesn't mean be fake, doesn't mean be inauthentic, but determine the appropriate way to kind of approach and carry yourself in the situation, right? You're meeting your girlfriend's dad for the first time. You don't want to probably roll up, blast some music, smoking a cig, fucking walk up and be like, "What's up, motherfucker?" Like that would be not pissing, not properly interpreting the social situation. Though you may listen to rap music, smoke cigs, and cuss like a sailor, probably not the time to do it in front of your dad's girlfriend for the first time. So Azuki makes an announcement of their anime, right? They've just sold $1 million direct-to-player pre-sales for its TCG. They're fucking killing it in the Web2 anime world. And they're finally getting some press coverage, making their big moment. And should they go, hey, by the way, remember NFTs? Remember that thing that you're probably sour about and have a weird taste in your mouth about? Let me shove that right in your face. No, that would be not pissing. That would be not properly interpreting the social situation, right? That can come later. That's okay, right? It would be the same thing to be like, hey, look at my, it would be weird behavior. It's like, oh, hey, we just put out a new Pokemon pack, right? Pokemon puts out a press release and they say, hey, we're coming out with a new game. We're coming out with a new deck of cards. And by the way, remember our first edition Charizard? Remember how that shit's worth $250,000? Remember that? Remember it? It would be weird behavior. That would be odd. In the same way here, when I went to the Las Vegas Licensing Expo, I was told by people in the industry who I trust and respect, they said, hey, probably not the best thing to lead with the NFTs. And I was like, yeah, that makes total sense. It actually is irrelevant in the context of our conversation about this intellectual property and how our brands may collab. Right. So same thing here. J-Bond, congratulations for rage baiting me. But hopefully we'll learn something today about properly interpreting the social situation. So there's that. Let's move on. Oh, and 82 asks, are we optimistic? Yes. I mean, always TBH. I'm a perma bull. But yes. All right, here we go. Ooh, Adam Wygand. After 6 incredible years growing Coinbase, I'm joining Tempo as head of marketing. Tempo. There we go. All right. Justin, Meta CTO says morale is near the worst it's ever been. Leadership will offer increased snack budgets to lift spirits. That's no way. That's real. That's rage bait. No way. Gretchen, stop trying to make hot IPO summer a thing every year. That's hilarious. All right. Wait. Ikula says, today I learned now the show name makes sense. Me. Iculus. You're going to have to explain that a little more. I'm not following, but I want to answer your question. So, bro. Yes. Oh, so good. Oh, we got a little teaser up top. We got Solana Gaming. We got a doodle. We've got something else. So let's see what that's to say. Hey, Claude, is it gaming season on Solana? Liberty, Gibbet, cooking, deciphering. Yes. Agreed. Oh, Akila says arrested development. Yes, exactly. The emotional immaturity. Yes, all that stuff. Yep. It's a real phenomenon. So there you go. It's kind of a, man, children, kind of adult living in kids' bodies, all that stuff. All right. Oh, weird. So it was Unreal Engine. There you go. Wait, Unreal Engine 5.8 ships today with MCVP server support. What the fuck? So you're saying that I can now point Claude and say, make me an Unreal Engine universe. Interesting. Underneath says bullish on spec. And he is. And we're not going to tell him any differently. Dude, all I'm seeing is Azuki. Congratulations. Oh, Steam Boy. Oh, wait, Steam Boy is... I'm finally getting to tell the story of Xiao. and Azuki as a manga. If you're coming to the Anime Expo, swing by the Azuki booth and check it out. Check out the first chapter. Dude, bullish on Steam Boy. Bullish on Steam Boy. All right. So here's the thing. It's 8:55. I don't want to have to sign off a few minutes earlier than normal, but I've got a meeting that I've got to prep, a little bit for. I got to get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? It's in before Cool Man Dan going to meet with Disney kind of vibes. But so I'll have to log off a couple minutes early, but it is Wednesday, June 17th. This has been Scroll With Me. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody watching who was scrolling with us today. And I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, I'll see you on the timeline.